Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today I have Kariana joining me. Hey, Kariana.
Hi.
Guys, we have an exciting video on how to manifest a commitment. With client success story, which is absolutely amazing. So we are definitely going to dive into that. So this video is for you if you're looking to manifest a commitment with somebody, or even just, improving your relationship, because we're definitely going to go over some tips and tricks that you can use in any situation, any relationship, no matter what stage you're at. Just before we do, guys, we are giving away a course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. Link is in the description. Also, that puts you on our mailing list, so you'll be the first to know if we have any sales. Speaking of sales, guys, Kariana is nearly 50% off for coaching right now. So definitely check out the link in the description below. She's absolutely amazing. She does come with lots of coaching experience already. So we're definitely excited to have her. So yes, let's dive into this. I'm excited.
I am too. I'm really, really excited about this success story. So I have another SP success story. I had a client that came to me, was trying to manifest back an SP that she did have in her life. And I believe that they were together for, I want to say 2 years. He was actually playing stepfather to her children. So a very, very solid, prominent figure in her life, committed. He pretty much came over one night and never left. So he was there. It was like a permanent date, showing up as exactly the man that she wanted and more. And then the situation kind of turned for the worse without warning. He went really cold on her, and basically told her that, he thought that they were moving too fast, that it was a little too much. The kids already had a, dad, and that he felt like he was kind of interrupting that. Just all sorts of really negative things reflected back to her. In the situation, she was shocked because, like I said, it went from, one date, never leaving, being this perfect guy. And then all of a sudden just went cold on her. And they went from, talking every single day, all day, to basically him, shutting her out, ignoring her. And they never had the relationship talk, or the breakup talk, I should say. But, it just kind of went there. And she found law of attraction because she was just really fed up with how the situation turned from, really, really hot to really, really cold. She didn't understand it. And she found me. We started coaching with each other. And we turned the situation around really quickly, which I am so proud of her because it's all of her work. But yeah, she would tell me that she would pass by, where he worked. He was in construction, and he had a logo on his car. And so she knew his car, and she would pass by almost every single day and see his car. And she would just stop and break down in tears. I mean, she was really, really emotional over this guy. She really started caring about him a lot. And then they ran into each other randomly. I think it was a coffee shop, and, started talking, and he was, texting back and forth, calling her first. And she was all excited about it. But then it was kind of like she was getting these still the hot and cold, the breadcrumbing and all of that. So when she found me, we started coaching and finding her blocks. By first, I would have her script, her whole story out, and, what her core beliefs and assumptions were about, this story. And she found her blocks on her own. In our second session, she brought to me what she had written down. We went over it together. And I also would have her script out what she wanted, writing the story out as if it already happened. That really helped her, and really helped her turn around the situation really quickly. Also, I gave her some intentions. Affirming was a big thing for her throughout the day, kind of pretty much robotically affirming, because she had problems staying in her desired state. She would doubt a lot, go back and forth. And then that's when, like I said, he would come in hot and then cold again and breadcrumb. So I think that was definitely really, really important, and a really big a really big thing for her turning around her situation quickly was just staying on a really, really strict mental diet. I think that just scripting and staying on a strict mental diet really helped her.
Right. And so he ended up moving in, right?
Yes. So it's in story and it happened pretty quickly. Once I got her into really staying on a strict mental diet and realizing like how important that was to, like, when you start doubting, when you start seeing in this person in this old, light, you need to flip it quickly and say, oh no, this person is showing up for me, calling me, texting me first. They're showing up for me as this perfect man, no matter what the 3D is showing you. So we had to go over that over and over again. And then, he just started coming in really, really hot again. She was super excited because it was like when they first started dating. He actually moved in. I believe it was probably within a month or two of them staying in this really solid state. He moved in and started playing, stepdad to her kids again. And it was like they were in a married situation. I remember her telling me that she's like, the next step is my ring. And I was like, yes, that's your next step for sure.
Yes. And I mean, I think mental diet is everything. I really do. Like in my situation, Andrew didn't want a relationship because I thought that, I basically had a story that every guy that was previously married had baggage and didn't want to be in a relationship. And when I did have the relationship talk with him, which really pushed him away, and he was almost ready to leave because I wasn't happy, right? And when I wanted to move in with him, it was like, and he was like, well, he said to me, he's like, well, I've already been married before and it didn't work out. Like, I don't want anything serious. And I was like, oh, I'm like, you know what? I remember saying that years ago. The married guys that were previously married, they didn't work out and they don't want to do it again. So I just had to really get on my mental diet for the next 5 days, and the funny thing is in my 3D, I had already manifested that we were looking for places together, but because I had a block with him wanting to be in a relationship, we were looking at places together, but for him to live in, not with me. So I put up with 4 days of driving around every day looking at condos for only him, and not him and me, but I was with him because that's how our thoughts create. And then I just kept, when I was in those condos looking, I was just like, yeah, this is going to be the bedroom where we sleep together. We're going to share that closet. Like, I just kept doing this in my head instead of reacting to the 3D. And then it was finally, we were out in Langley or something, and we were looking at a houseboat that he brought me to look at, that he was considering buying, and we went for lunch at this pub, and I was on my phone and we were waiting for lunch to come, and he was like, I was thinking, and I was like, what? He was like, you're not crazy, and I think we should move in together. And I was like, oh. So I had to go to the bathroom and scream because I was so happy. But it was like staying on my mental diet regardless of what was showing up, just accepting everything in my 3D as something that I've manifested, because your thoughts create. Like, that's where you need to be, in that state of, okay, look at it. Whatever shows up in my reality, whether I like it or not, I'm just going to accept it because I've created it. And that's not to say to be a doormat, right? It's really not, right? You don't have to be in a situation where, you're a doormat or things bother you, but I'm not reacting to it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could have easily said, no, you know what? I'm busy. I don't want to go look at places because it made me triggered. And that's totally fine. But I would still need to be on my mental diet. Like, I didn't have to be in that situation. I just happen to not be very emotional, and I don't react very much because I'm just so over it. Like, I've been doing this for so long. It's like, it's like, I created it, whatever. I just wanted to spend time with him because we always have a good time together, right? So mental diet, regardless of what you do, you have to do a mental diet. There's no way around this. None. Yeah. Trust me, if there was an easier way to do it than a mental diet, I would tell you.
I would, yes, and I would back it. I would confirm it. I'd be like, yes, that's exactly the simplest way. Yeah, I think that once you made a couple good points, is you always have to remember that you are the creator. Your thoughts are creating good or bad. So you might as well be telling yourself something really, really positive, and obviously what you want out of the situation, But yeah, I think that once I drove home that mental, like you said, there's no way around mental diet and staying really, really strict with yourself. And honestly, with me, I showed her, I said, hey, look, the biggest lesson that I had to learn in manifestation when I started consciously manifesting was you cannot take anything personal. That was like a hard one for her to get to, because she was like you, where she had the situation, where she's going back and forth with this guy, and he would say something like, oh, I'm going to look into new places or whatever when they first got back together, or back connected, and it would trigger her. And then she would, close up and get upset. But I told her, I said, even in those situations, that's fine. You don't have to say much. You don't have to react at all. You can go and say, hey, look, I need some alone time, but still stay on your mental diet. You have to, because if the minute that you start going back and forth, the minute that you start getting cold, and they're going to get cold, they're going to, you're going to go back and forth with this person.
Exactly. You know what? It's funny. It's like to never take things personally is so very important. So I remember one of my first dates with Andrew, we were at the horse races, and it's just a nice little, summer thing to do. And they've got a nice little restaurant there. And we were walking around, and he was starting to get crabby, and we were like brand new, like dating. And I thought to myself, I was like, oh, does he like not want to be with me or whatever? So I started taking his crabbiness personally. And then I'm thinking, oh, maybe he just wants not to hang out with me and go home or go do something else. And then all of a sudden I thought to myself, I'm like, no, Amanda, no, he's just hungry. That's why he's cranky. It's lunchtime. I'm getting hungry. That's why he's getting cranky. And then all of a sudden he says to me, he's like, sorry if I'm getting cranky. He's like, it's just that I'm getting hungry. And I was like, oh, okay. So even like to this day, if he's walking around and he's being a grump, it's like, I'm like, no, it's not me. It's something else bothering him. And then he'll always come to me and say, sorry, I'm in a grumpy mood. It's not you. This is stressing me out. And I'm like, okay. It's like, if somebody, like, for instance, doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, don't make it about you. Don't take it personally. If you don't take it personally and take it as rejection, then nobody can reject you. So it'd be like, you know what, you can create the story saying, well, you know what, he's just not ready for a relationship, but he's going to be ready. Like my story with Andrew, I didn't take his not wanting to move in with me personally because, I created the story that, you guys that are previously married and divorced don't want to get into a committed relationship. So he reflected that back. It wasn't that, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, don't add that extra layer of you not being good enough, right? It's always created something about them and then change it, right? If somebody doesn't answer the phone, like your mom or your best friend, you're not like, oh, they're mad at me and rejecting me. You're like, oh, they're just busy. They're going to call me as soon as they're free. So, if you can never be rejected, if you don't take anything anyone does to you as rejection, right?
Yeah. Yes. 100%. Just make it work for you. Whatever's going on in whatever's showing up for you in your 3D, just make it work for you, because everything is changeable and malleable. So like you can, like you said, if somebody doesn't call you, doesn't text you, because at first that's what was going on. Like I said, she would get a text message from him, or he would call her and say, hey, let's meet up. But then like she wouldn't hear from him for 3 days, and she would get into that panic mode, of that, which it's natural. Like we've all been there. We've all done it. You get into that, oh no, what is he thinking? What's going on? Is he with somebody else? And I had it to, that's where the coaching really, really helped her, especially in our second session. I had to drive home to her, like, just make it work for you. Create a story that works. Oh, he's just busy at work. He's overwhelmed, but he's thinking about me constantly, and he's going to text me anytime, or he can't spend another minute without thinking about me. I'm always on his mind 24/7. Everything he sees reminds me of, or reminds him of me. You make it work for you.
Well, exactly, and script it out, or at least think about it. What are you going to see, hear, and feel? What is it actually going to look like?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that is like really incredibly important. You know, what is it going to look like? What are you going to do? So you recognize it when it comes, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know, where are you going to live? Like, what is, you know, like I remember when I manifested Andrew, where we're dating, I was like, he's going to come over every day after work, have dinner with me, watch movies, or sometimes we're going to go out. And that's exactly what happened. So it was like, it wasn't just like, well, I intend he wants a commitment with me. Okay, but what does that look like? He could easily never come over and say to you on the phone, yeah, I'm committed to you. Okay, well, but is that what you want? What do you actually want? What are you guys going to do together? Like, really make it clear, because your subconscious mind sees in pictures. So if you start creating, you know, the picture of what you're going to see, hear, and feel when you get it, then you're going to make it more stronger. And the more stronger, more energy you put towards it, the better it's going to show up. So what does a commitment look like to you? What are you guys going to do? Does that mean that he drops, you know, right now he sees his friends on Friday night and he no longer does that and spends every Friday with you? Great. Start affirming that, you know, start creating that, you know. Is he going to put you before his video games? Great. You know, or is he going to invite you over to like football day with his buddies? Yeah, it's okay. What does it look like to you, right?
Yes, because commitment, relationships, commitment look differently to everybody. Everybody has different needs. So, you know, like for you, you know, you had a picture in your mind and that's what you wanted, and you weren't going to like, you know, you weren't going to differ from that. And I told her, you know, first start putting yourself on the pedestal and know that you are entitled. This is your birthright to have anything and everything that you want, desire. So stop, you know, thinking that anything that you're thinking that you want from this person is over the top. Stop that, you know, and then script it out, write out your whole story, one. And then second, start scripting it. Yeah, exactly what you want, what you want to hear him say to you, how many times you want him to call you. You can get very specific, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know,
relationships and commitment look different to everybody, and there's no right or wrong answer. There's no yes or, you know, you create it because that's whatever you desire, you know, is right for you, and you have the right to have it. You create it, and nobody can tell you right or wrong. You know, your relationship is different than, you know, everybody else's, and it's supposed to be. You know, you're unique and in your own right. You know. So yeah, I had to definitely get her on the whole scripting thing. She loves it now. She's completely, you know, she does it every single night. And she tells me now everything that I script comes true. And I was like, duh.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Intent. Everything you script comes true. You know, all your intentions come true. All your affirmations come true. They're happening now, because everyone's you pushed out and your thoughts create. So, you know, definitely create those intentions that it's always working in your favor. I think that's so incredibly important, you know? So, well, thank you so much, Kariana. I think this was an amazing video. I think it was great.
I intend that it helps anybody and everybody that's watching this, that it helps them, you know, it kind of gives them a clearer picture and helps them manifest, because, you know, that's what we're here for. Like I said, I'm here to help you. I'm your new hype woman. So can't wait to coach everybody.
Exactly. I intend everybody has an aha moment and they're like, okay, I got this, you know?
I got this.
Exactly. Well, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And we intend that all of you guys, all your dreams come true. So we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.